I think critics are wrong about this movie.
I don't even know what the critics said, so of course they're
I
wrong.
mean, most of them say it's a middling movie. Like, you get a lot of 5 out of 10s.
The third one was worse than this one.
Yeah, and yet, just glancing at some of the contemporary reviews, the reviews from the time, they're like, this didn't live up to the expectations set by Lethal Weapon 3.
Oof.
Because at the time, people loved Lethal Weapon 3. And I think history has made it a bad movie.
Yep, I would agree.
Whereas this one, I don't know. I think a lot of it still holds up. And when we get to the end, there was one moment that really got me. And so I'm trying to put myself in the headspace of someone in the late 90s where they loved Lethal Weapon 3, and then finally here comes the 4th movie, and maybe it didn't live up to expectations, but I don't know. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I think that's trying to be in the 90s, man. No, this is 2026. I think the happy endings made it a good comedy buddy cop show. The exploration of some of the relationships, I think, was a bit stronger. I do think the son-in-law was a bit I was like, oh, let's cast Chris Rock so we can give some of his routine. Like, I'm sure there's other movies that have done that, maybe to better effect, but I just don't. It didn't jive anymore. The 90s, maybe it would have seemed really funny, like compared to Rush Hour or Rush Hour 2. Then it's in line. But
so you brought it up, and I'm glad you did, because I thought it while I was watching the movie. Rush Hour is Chris Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
I, in my head, thought it was Chris Rock.
Oh, no. What's this guy?
Chris Rock is Lethal Weapon 4, and Chris Tucker did Rush Hour. But it's been so long since I had watched either of them that in my head I was just like, oh, same guy. It's got to be the same guy. Not the same guy.
One different. Is slappable. The other is very nice in Fifth Element.
But, just from a personal level, I have enjoyed Chris Rock's stand-up specials, and I don't know if Chris Tucker has any stand-up specials. I don't think I've watched them if he has, whereas I've definitely listened to Chris Rock in the 90s. Welcome to Potato Chip Pictures, the movie franchise review podcast. My name is B. Sammy Davis.
Hello again, I'm Justin.
And today we are looking at the 4th and potentially final forever Lethal Weapon 4. Here it is. Justin, tell me about this. Forkwill?
I mean, Lethal Weapon 4, 1998. Richard Donner wraps up his franchise. I know that it kind of swapped screenwriters and story by, but he directed all of them. I think there's a bit of an evolution through all of it, but I enjoyed the way this one looks and feels more than the third one. There's a little more of the busyness of the city. But screenwriter Channing Gibson, no relation or relation, I don't know.
To whom?
Jonathan Mel Gibson.
Oh, I'm sitting here like, you're not related by first names. Because I was thinking Channing Tatum.
No. We could look it
Wow.
up. I have no idea. I don't know
Yeah.
of Mel's family like I know him, first name basis,
Yeah.
Story by Jonathan Lemkin, Alfred Go, or Guff, depends on how people say it, Miles Miller. But still, Richard Donner, Joel Silver for producer. So none of those names really mean much other than Richard Donner that we know. Joel Silver has produced all of it. Pretty sure
I
Joel
was going to
Silver's
say,
on something else.
Joel Silver has been there from the beginning. So that's the other name that we've had since the
Uh,
start.
they five oopled the budget
Ooh.
to $150 million.
Ooh.
That had let them almost double that amount. They're 285.4 in terms of return. For 6 years and so much more money, I do think critics sometimes take into account the return and the fervor and hype. Because I feel like that's why Lethal Weapon 3 got a great score, It worked in that time period. This one just wasn't. Maybe there was overabundance of buddy cop movies. But for budget wise, it didn't do as well. I don't think that's going to affect my rating because they charmed me early on.
Yes.
So
I feel like right from the jump, this movie captured a lot of the charm that I had been missing from many of the from the last one.
The last one.
Like the 3 was the only one that really kind of was a falling off point for me, whereas this one having a literal cartoon villain, because like I kept thinking as all these Batman movies were coming out, I was like, it's so weird that we haven't had Firefly return, because I'm so certain that I have seen that mad pyromaniac on film before. No, I just saw a dude with a flamethrower on Lethal Weapon 4 and just kind of thought that was Firefly from DC Comics.
It's definitely an odd character. Like I think it works in their favor in the odd situation that these guys for the past however many years have been getting themselves into. Trying to think of third one started with the bomb and the cat, which was Second one, I don't
What
recall.
was the second one? It was the police chase with the Germans and the station wagon. It was the brand new car.
They get away in a helicopter. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This one felt like the right type of silly. It felt like endearing that he does trick him. I feel like the relationship setups of these dudes is poking fun at each other, and this time it works. They do kind of the same sort of abuse towards Leo, but they also include him in an important picture, and it's like, yeah, let's wrap up with these dudes being fine, and maybe they kiss your married daughters on the lips. That's a little bit far for me. But
I've said this before, but I grew up in a household where my dad would kiss women on the lips. Like, that's just how he said hello to women. And I have never felt comfortable with that. I never felt comfortable with it when I was a kid watching it happen. I've never felt comfortable watching other people doing it, no matter how much they are close to each other. I think it was one of the Timothy Dalton James Bond movies where he kissed a woman on the lips, and I was like, that is not your wife. That is that is definitely someone else's wife because we just had a marriage. Like you were smooching on the wrong woman. And
Oh
so
yeah,
yeah, I did not feel comfortable when we get
I
out
remember
of
that
all
now.
of the intro stuff and have Riggs introduced to Rianne and giving her a big old smooch on the lips. I'm like, what?
I think it may be relic that dies in the past. I'm
Yep,
okay with that.
I am good with that dying. That I am sorry to any of my lady friends, but unless we are romantically involved, you're the most you're getting out of me is a hug. Like I'd
Yeah.
rather do a fist bump. Like that's just my
Yeah.
way.
In terms of hijinks, I think it's mostly doable ones, passable, like the firefly, whatever, explosions, uh, in the rain in his underwear. It's like, okay, this all jives with what I understand Lethal Weapon being about. So
And I'm gonna say this is probably my favorite opening of all four movies.
I think
Um,
it'd be fair, yeah.
First movie we had the jumper, which set the mood, set the tone, but it really is kind of a unique artifact of that particular movie. And then we've already talked about the second and third movies, and the third movie wanted to be this big and over the top, but it didn't really work for me. Whereas this one, everything feels like it works because they're talking to each other. We discover the pregnancy
Oh yeah.
subplot that's going to be going for this whole movie because our two lead characters think they're going to die in the very beginning of the movie.
He's bulletproof, the bad guy, and he's got fire. So like it's close. Just gotta wait for the bomb squad, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that I think sets it apart so much is like with the bomb squad in particular, and I mentioned this last week, they knew that a capable bomb squad exists in the LAPD, and
Mm-hmm.
yet they decide to be the ones to go defuse the bomb.
It'll be
This
fine.
one, yeah, this one, it is a bad dude with a weapon. That is right down their alley. They don't have to wait for anyone. They
Nope.
are the top dudes for this job. So now I am on board with it. I'm like, yeah, we've got the two best people. We've got the one with experience who's going to be silly and he's going to strip down to his underwear. And then we got the crack shot who is going to hit the 1 in a million shot on this tiny little part of his back that's going to save the day. We're going to get the giant explosion that we got from the bomb scare without the bomb scare. Like, I think everything about this opening works for me. So I'm going to say 10 out of 10 opening, best in the franchise.
I would agree. Pretty good. I think it's of having watched them, it's the one that I could remember before rewatching. Um, but yeah, I think it sets the tone that matches at least the foundation of Lethal Weapons up until here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, as you already alluded to, we get Leo very early in the movie, and he's had
Oh yeah,
another career change. And frankly, a better career change. Like, so far, everything's coming together in a way that makes sense to me, where I'm like, yeah, that works.
yep. It's private investigating. I think is works better for. We'll say it is his role of finding information that would take too long to put the main characters on a side quest. Like, oh, we
Mm-hmm.
actually got to go find where this is. Like, no, actually, Leo's been on that this whole time. It's like, I'm fine with that for Leo. He's
Mm-hmm.
a private investigator. He might be bad at some pieces of that job, but
But he
you
gets
gave him
better
enough time.
throughout the movie, so he
Yeah.
is improving. But on top of that, it makes sense to me because for Lethal Weapon 2, he was such a huge fan of Riggs and Murtaugh that it would make sense for him to want to be a cop. And if he could not be a cop because of his sordid past, then a private investigator makes sense for who Leo would it would be. Like that
Yeah.
would be the job he would go to. So Lethal Weapon 3 further falls in my mind because it's like, why is he being a real estate investor? Why is he being a
Yep.
broker? That sucks. Like,
Yeah. I think, well, so Leo shows up when they're on the boat, right?
yeah. And
But
they're
boat,
celebrating because now we know
yeah.
that Murtaugh's going to be a grandpa because Rianne is pregnant, presumably outside of marriage. We know that Lorna is pregnant with Riggs' baby. So Riggs is going to be a dad. And Leo is just there. He's like, he loves these guys. He's there. And even though they're ragging on him, he's still there and he's caught a shark. Like
Yeah.
he's a dude that's supposed to be here.
He's family. And I think it works to introduce the next bust that's going to fall into their laps. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of the calling card of, I don't know, plots. Like it has to happen unexpectedly. Like when it's like Princess Bride, when it's basically actually he's on a quest already because he got captured by pirates. It's like, well, so okay, he's meant to be chasing these people down. So this is the main character is making this plot happen. These guys kind of just get dropped into hijinks. And
they do. But they're
they-
always ready to rumble. They are
Yeah.
always ready for action.
So the very rusted looking boat kind of crashes into them a little bit. They have to board it because they heard gunshots. The gunshots are actually the execution of a refugee or slave. I can't quite tell what would be their
They
status
are
because-
slaves. They are
Yeah.
slaves on the presumption that they will be refugees, but this is
Yeah.
a scam.
Yeah.
And this is their final realization that they have been scammed when a random person gets executed just to prove the point that no one cares about them. And had Riggs and Murtaugh not been there, that would have been the end of the story and they would have been sold off to be slaves, and that's just the way it would have been. But our heroes are catching sharks right now.
They are there to save the day, but also they get beat up. I think it's a nice little point to later on. Riggs will recall that, man, I wasn't going to be able to overcome the obstacles and win the fight on the ship. So
he is getting older and he's noticing it throughout this entire movie. And I love that.
So gunfights, explosions, boat sinking, and some of the bad guys get away. But the entire ship is filled with slaves that INS turns away most of them. It felt like that was a I don't know. I felt like, yes, we're supposed to feel sorry that they're calling them illegals, and INS is saying, some of them will be asylum seekers, and it's like, okay, they're in a bad spot, so
yeah. And I do like, I forget the name of the family. Is it the Hongs?
Yes.
No, Hong is the patriarch of the family. I don't know if we ever get the family. Maybe it is the Hongs.
They're talking to Uncle Benny, and they say, "Where are the Hongs?" And it's like,
yeah, okay, so that is the family name. They decide to hide out on an escape boat, and Murtaugh decides to, be a good person and smuggle them
Yeah,
into the country.
I was proud of him, and I think that cascaded into uh, Lorna and Riggs's charming conversation, and this held up my rating because
hmm
they first Murtaugh is doing something that he can, doing what he can, and it is illegal. Sure.
Yep. He is
Uh,
breaking the law.
guess what? Uh, people need help. So
And Riggs and Lorna are, I love how quickly they just roll with it. Where they walk in
well,
on it and they're like, okay,
yes.
now I've seen it and I'm good with this.
Before them seeing it, the what I was mostly referencing was their banter at the expanded trailer on the beach, and
Oh
I
yeah, they are
was
getting ready.
charmed by um their ease and also the tension of uh so like Murtaugh and Riggs are like, oh, you aren't getting married. So,
Mm-hmm.
1990s.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't getting married and you're having a kid? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but what are you going to do about,
Yeah.
parentheses, that problem?
Yeah.
It's like, okay. But I think it added a nice tension. And then it that relationship grew into more than the third movie. And I felt like I enjoyed it for that.
hmm
Like, it felt real nice.
Well, let's talk about that particular conflict and how it has aged, because I was aware that even in the late 90s, pregnancy outside of marriage usually resulted in people getting married quickly. And that happened for most of my early adulthood too. If a friend knocked up his girlfriend, chances are I was going to get a wedding invitation within the next few weeks. Like they
Mm.
were going to get married fast in order to cover up the fact that she's pregnant outside of marriage. Uh, but now, we live in 2026. No one cares. No one, well, some people care, but at least I don't care. Like if our mutual friend that we talked to on Discord, if
Yeah.
he came in and was like, I knocked up this lady, but I hate her, but I really want to be a dad, I'm not going to be here like, you got to get married. That's terrible. No, like it doesn't matter. Like I don't care. Um, and so in my head, I never cared about the fact that they were about to have a child out of wedlock. What I
Yeah.
thought was more interesting was the question of love. Like, and this is a question that's going to get answered at the end of the movie, but Riggs is really uncomfortable with moving on from his dead wife. We're in the fourth
Yeah.
movie. He may have, like, he's got relationships, but he can't cross this line. Like, this is his
I
line.
think it's very fair to have that much guilt over her dying. He does say that he's mostly reluctant because his first wife died because he was a cop, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
understandable with the reveal of the second movie. Um, I think it meshes with what we know, and I think that also makes it seem like his story with Trish was more significant and meant a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a nice tension. It's a nice conflict, and it makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily that they're getting married, but
I was going to say, spoiler alert, they are going to get married by the end of this movie, but,
it's
it's
more of a resolution
yeah,
of the dead wife.
exactly. It is not that that the kid isn't going to be born out of wedlock. That like who cares about that conflict? The thing we care about is that Riggs is ready to marry again, and the person he's marrying is a fantastic person.
Yeah.
Early on, I was like, man, every time they introduce a new character to the family, they do them dirty the next movie. But pretty quickly, even though Lorna is not a huge part of this movie, she still gets action. She still gets some good character moments. She's not a big part of the movie, but she's still impactful in the movie. So I feel like they did her better than they did Leo in the last movie.
Yeah. Yes, I think she's a good addition, and then compliments having been added to the whole.
Plus, she
So yeah,
still gets to
Lorna.
do some kung fu, so good on her.
Yeah,
She's gonna get her moments. We
we're good
did
in the
skip
fight.
over the introduction of our new member of the family, and that is Detective Lee Butters,
Oh
played by
yes,
Chris Rock. We met him on
he's
the beach, but we got to talk about him because he like early
he's
on I'm
present.
sitting here thinking, great, we've got Chris Rock. I really don't care. And then
Yeah,
they reveal that he's very important to the story.
yeah. I don't know what the script called for, but it is a lot of this comedian we've cast is here to
Mm-hmm.
tell jokes as his character. And I think, yes, 10%, 90% he contributes as a cop in this movie. 90% jokes
Yep.
or observations like Seinfeld or something.
I think he's got one great scene, like three good scenes, and then the rest I could have done without. Like,
Yes.
I don't feel like he's the best addition to this movie. I think his great scene is when he and Leo start complaining about all the ways that the guys are going to get you, how the cell phone companies will get you, how the printers and the fax will get you. Like, I don't even remember everything that's getting them, but they just go back and forth for a while. And until finally Chris Rock is like, why am I talking to this guy? And I was like, because you guys are the same person.
Both love to talk and yeah. Yeah, I think maybe I'm being not generous enough because 10%, 90%,
Yeah, I think you're
maybe
being
a little more.
just generous enough because the big thumbs down is the confusion of why Butters wants to cozy up to Murtaugh, and Murtaugh decides he must be gay. And that
Yeah.
it's not it didn't age well, and it wasn't even funny then. Like, it just
Yeah.
felt like you could have done something with this to make it work.
Yeah.
And
I
I
think
just don't like that part of his character or that part of his story.
it is definitely time period piece of oh, it'd be funny if we made him think that he's actually attracted to him because that is not masculine at all. And this is, even though we're introducing, the love side of a buddy cop movie, the two main characters can love each other, but they're not going to get married.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if the son-in-law is actually made to seem like he's in love with the actual father-in-law? Eh, um,
Yeah, and on top of that, I also never got that vibe. That's the other reason it didn't work for me, is I was like, if you're going to play that joke, at least do it in a way where the audience might say, "Ah, yes, I can see the confusion." But we're told right away that Rianne and Butters got hitched, that they got
yep,
married uh, without anyone knowing. and and so the tension is really just how long is it going to take for Murtaugh to find out? Okay, I don't want to jump ahead to when he finds
oh,
out because I don't like that, but I don't want to skip
well,
too much. We can jump
I
ahead if you
trying
want to.
I'm trying to think of what else is there because they find out that the slaves are being sold. Murtaugh's
Mhm.
helped a family, which I think if you like try and solve the mystery at the theater while you're watching something, if that's your
Mm-hmm.
type of thing, awesome. If you're
Yeah.
like me and you just kind of sit there and watch, you don't really realize that the family that Murtaugh saved is actually an important family
Yeah.
to the
They're a
plot,
big
because
deal.
I was like, oh, I mean, it's just these guys. Maybe they dropped their family name when Benny is talking to the triad, but I don't remember. I just remember being surprised. Like, oh, well, okay, so this is all connected. Once again, the plot has found its way to the
Yes.
sergeants slash captains slash sergeants.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I completely forgot that they got promoted for no reason.
for what is it? You rise to the level of your incompetency, right? It's
I mean, this is LA. Like, everybody fails up.
we can't insure you guys, so we need to get you off the street. But you're actually gonna
Yeah, then
burn
they're
and
going to
break
stay
and
on the street for the rest of the
yeah.
movie.
So I don't know if there's much more to add, because the plot is like them trying to find the family and Murtaugh trying to, I guess I'm trying to think of why did they start. I guess they talked to Benny because they're looking for the people from the ship
Yep.
that were there.
Because
So
Uncle Benny is like the boss of Chinatown. So it's not that they're necessarily saying he did it. They say if it's happening, he would know. But then they come in pretty hot. They come in being like, "You did it." I'm like, that's not what you told me in the station. In the station, you just said he might know. Now we're in the restaurant and you're like, "You are the one doing this."
I'm trying to remember. I made one note of a win for this movie is Joe Pesci getting to yell and scream. It's
Yes.
like right when they're going to talk to Benny, but I'm trying to remember what he was yelling about.
Well, he starts tailing them, and they're like, "We've got a tail."
Oh yeah,
and
that's a plus in my column.
Yeah, like this is when he's really bad at being a private investigator, but he is new to it. He loves calling himself a dick, which is the slang for a PI. I'm not just swearing for the sake of it, but it is a good joke when he's like, "I'm a dick." And they're like, "Yeah, you are." I'm like, like, I liked it. I thought it was good.
Works enough.
Yep. And then they get him arrested, which, they're terrible friends. They are terrible friends.
Yeah. So that's where it kind of is the line of they're kind of dicks to everybody, but when they're being there at Benny's and breaking the glass, they're being a dick to the criminal element. But when it's your friend, it's like, well, I mean, dial it back a bit.
Yeah, man. Like, you got to have some discretion and understand the difference between the good guys and the bad guys.
Yeah. Well, plot-wise, they start chasing people die. They arrest the waiter from the restaurant, which I think was another nice small moment of comedy, which
I started to think maybe the waiter was not involved when he helped push the dumpster while in handcuffs. So he can only push with like his shoulder. But in my, I thought, okay, well, if he's involved, he's going to take off while they're trying to move the dumpster. But no, he gets involved and he's like, yeah, I'll help.
The bonus of it, the plus of it is the fact that they're like, what? Well, prove that you're a waiter. What are the specials? And he's like, oh, what day is it? And he starts rattling off and it's like, okay, obviously he's a waiter.
Oh man. That. And I did like that little misdirect. That was fun. Mm-hmm. I think my favorite part of that chase, of course, the chase itself is very good, but the end of it when Riggs is once again coming face to face with his age, because a trick that would have been easy once upon a time where he's just hopping from roof to roof. Now he can't make that distance, and he slips and hangs from the rooftop. I there's every time that Riggs has to confront his age is a thumbs up to me. That's a moment where I'm like, yeah, you like. He even says like, I'm gonna will it to not happen. I'm not gonna let myself age. And it's like, sorry, bro. Like it's not how it goes for any of us.
Name of the game here, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think the plot from there is okay. Like they connect a little bit with the Hongs so that we feel bad when they get captured. But they put themselves into danger, so houses get caught on fire, and
Well, I don't know if I'd blame them for putting themselves in danger. There's an X factor that we have not brought up once.
oh,
And that, of course, is Jet Li.
well, yes.
Who is a mysterious figure in many of these scenes. He's there with Uncle Benny. He's the guy at the roof who kills the person Riggs was chasing, and then he tracks down Riggs and Murtaugh to their house and discover the Hongs and kidnap them and burn the house to the ground. He is a capable, mysterious, and fascinating villain. Like, I think Jet Li was fantastic casting for this movie.
Yeah. I think I don't remember how new he was to movies, because he seems like he's the same age as when he did his other solo movie, all of his clones or universe copies.
Oh, the
himself.
one. Yeah. I love the one.
So I think it's around that time
I keep trying to get my kids to watch the one, and they're like, it looks too old. And I'm like, come on.
it may be a little old, but
but it's still okay. Fun.
I think he works well. I think when they first meet, Riggs kind of tries to feel him out and say, okay, like, do you speak English? Like, which again is not a great aging thing. It's like, well, they could, yes, they could not, but like maybe ask them in not a condescending way.
I'm glad you brought it up, because the thing that's going to hurt my score the most is just how racist this movie is. Like, to the Hongs, they are generally good, but every other Chinese person that they come in contact in this movie, they're going to say something about Chinese people. And it tore me out of it every time. I was like, ugh, come on. Can you people be cops without bringing up someone's race? Like, you can be partners without bringing up each other's race. Why can't you do that with the general public?
Because it's the others, man. They gotta be.
Yeah.
It's gotta have somebody. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
And then I got to give, since we are essentially there, I got to give my thumbs down, my big 0 out of 10 scene. Well, not 0 out of 10. I'll say a 2 out of 10 scene, because I did chuckle a couple of times. The laughing gas scene when they break into Uncle
50-50.
Benny's dentist appointment. I think the highlight of that scene is Leo making a scene and having an emergency dental operation that needs to be done now. And like, Leo you can always count on him. He's good for this type of job.
Misdirect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we get into the room and Butters is just waving around the laughing gas that they've put on like full blast, and now they're all getting gassed. Like, oh my gosh.
I would attribute it to movie magic, because I don't know how effective it is once you try to fill a room, but could be wrong.
Yeah,
it was only okay. Because
I don't know if they do laughing gas anymore in the dentist.
I think maybe for kids sometimes. I think they've I don't know actually if they still do. Um,
Yeah.
I think it only really serves for the exposition that they need and the
Mm-hmm.
bringing up of the uh, hidden marriage.
Marriage. Yep.
And I I like better the time after the reveal than the time before the reveal. So
Yeah.
necessary to get to a better portion of the movie where Butters is cared for by Murtaugh, even begrudgingly. Like, I feel like as
See, and I don't
soon
even
as he
think it's
knows,
begrudgingly.
he
Oh
likes.
my gosh, I feel like once he's drugged into hearing the news, he has no problem with it for the
Yeah,
rest of the movie.
endearing, I think, is it. I feel like it's a nice bit for Murtaugh to be caring of another person that's surprised
Mhm.
into the family. Like, Riggs
Yeah.
happened in the first movie, and it's like, we're friends now, and we end the movie, and this one, we're in the middle, and like, you got to keep your now son-in-law safe. So he
That is
seems like a
fair.
good person because he's
That
been a
is a
good person.
fair observation.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, Murtaugh accepted Riggs almost immediately. It didn't take a lot of that first movie for Murtaugh to be like, we are partners and I'm going to watch out for you. So it would make sense that it wouldn't take very much for him to hear, hey, Butters and Rianne got married. This is your son-in-law. And he would be like, all right, that's the reality I live in. And here's my new son. I'm going to be a good father-in-law, you know? So I'll go with you. It is fitting with his character. He is the type of person who will roll with the punches and be like, all right, this is the situation now. Let's make the most of it.
Yeah. So if the Benny scene with the gas gets us there, okay, that's maybe we could pick a different way, but I think it gets us to a better spot. So progress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my other big, well, I wouldn't say big thumbs down because it affected me quite a bit, but we finally get to learn what is the crime that is happening. Like in all of these movies, at some point they've told us what the crime is,
Yep.
why the cops are here. And this time it's forgery. And we finally get to where the forgery is happening. Jet Li presents to his forger, Mr. Hong, and he's like, look, you're going to finish this job or I'm going to kill your family. And he kills Hong right there. And it, like, my jaw dropped. I was like, you killed this guy? Like,
He's an
we've
important
been with
character.
him for this whole movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that is some stakes. I think it works in that format. I
Mm-hmm.
did feel sorry for the family, and it did feel real that this guy will kill people. So when
Mm-hmm.
they end up fighting him, it feels like, yeah, you could die, and you accepted that you could die in this last fight.
Yep. There could be more deaths in this movie. And frankly, it took me to Lethal Weapon 2 when they blew up the cops, including the dude from Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
where in my head I was like, these are important characters. They're going to be around for the rest of the franchise.
No.
And they're not. And similarly, now Hong is gone. Like, we've been getting close to him this whole movie. He's dead now. That's how it is. That's how bullets work. He is not alive anymore. And
Well,
yeah, that
he
really
wasn't
hit me.
shot. But
I thought he was shot in the head. Oh, he was strangled and then
yeah,
had his neck broken.
like tripped and
That's
broken and
right.
stuff. The
Yeah,
brother gets shot.
it's the brother who got the bullet, but Hong got a much more visceral, and that's why my jaw was on the floor, because I was just like, what?
Yeah, which I think stuff starts to shake out in a
Mm-hmm.
logical way, if maybe not logistically possible way,
Yeah.
because they reveal the forgery, and I guess I'm trying to think of what. Oh, there's like a highway chase. Oh, after the burning down of the house, there's a whole highway
Mm-hmm.
chase with the trailer being dragged, and uh,
Oh yeah, that was fantastic. I forgot that was in this movie. That
I,
was so good.
I was trying to be like, how do they end up getting to where they're going? Oh yeah, they chase the people. They don't get any information out of them, but
Because they kill everybody.
yeah, like they catch up somehow, and then they
And then have
discover
a
the
fight in
forgeries.
a literal mobile home that is being transported. And
There
I
was
I really like that highway
oh,
sequence. I completely forgot about it.
I
That was a
think
fantastic action sequence.
I think the what would you call it? I think the stunt work is a little more visible in this one. I tend to enjoy calling out stunt work, and I think the trailer is a good
Hmm.
one. I think we see the Luxor Pyramid in Las Vegas in the background in one of the shots. Unless
Oh,
there's one of those in Los Angeles. Um,
yeah, I don't know.
but
I mean, obviously, it wouldn't be the Luxor, but it could be. I mean,
I don't
people
know
love
how old
having a
that
big
is.
glass pyramid. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but that's a
I
good
missed that
scene.
completely.
I the place where I would be interested in seeing behind the scenes would be the burning house while they're inside of it, because that looked really well set up in terms of them
Yeah.
being in a burning house without the actors being in danger, I guess I would say, because it's
Yeah.
on fire and they're crawling out and it looks like they're crawling through the fire. It looks really
Hmm.
good.
It does look really good. And the only thing that I could think would be that it was in a studio set where essentially the house is rebuilt as a studio and it's a controlled fire where you can just put it out
Mm-hmm.
immediately. And the only things burning are the things that the scene wants burning for that moment. But I don't know. It's very possible that they had to do this quick and they had to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. Like, I don't know. I've never seen a behind the scenes, but it looks
I mean,
dangerous.
if there's anyone to go back to, I encourage you to look at that one again because that looked really of real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um,
Trying to
so
think if there's any other big action sequences that I wanted to call out because yeah, that highway chase, I forget how good it is. Um, so the Chinese triad has this method of killing people where they stop at a train track
oh yeah,
and then push the car in. And they try to do this to Riggs, Lorna, and then Hong's son.
yeah.
And eventually Riggs gets smart enough to be like, well, instead of trying to go backwards, let's go forwards and try to get out of
It
this.
works out.
It works out great. The thing I don't like is that a second train appears,
Surprise.
which I mean, that happens. They like when we were a million years ago, when you and I were in, not together, but when we were in driver's ed, I'm sure that you had a class on train safety and they were very insistent upon telling us don't go until the arms go up because if the arms are still down, that means another train is coming. Um, and this movie had another train coming.
It is possible.
Mm-hmm. It is a realistic thing. It's just in my head. I was like, oh come on.
Um, no, I think the gunfight action scene is all right. I think it's comedic that they expose the fact that the triad is going to give the general fake money, and the
Mm-hmm.
general's just like, all right, well, let's start. It's one of
Boom.
these. They start
Yeah.
blasting.
Just gonna kill one of the forefathers. Forefathers are what we're calling, well, not us, but what the movie is calling the four members of the triad who have, we keep seeing them throughout the movie. They're being transported from
We're
China
told
to
they're
LA.
important.
Yeah, they're a big deal if they can survive this movie. And turns out they're not going to survive this movie.
Unfortunately, but they are double crossing a general, so it's like, okay,
Mhm.
the bad guys are being bad guys to each other, which is, trust a dishonest man to always lie. So it's easy to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of action, serves for Butters to get shot, so Murtaugh says to take care of him. Like, it's a little bit of funny, a little bit of action. I think the finale.
A little bit of heart.
Yes, the finale is the highlight of it, because
yes, I was about to
rest.
say, like, gunfight. It's cool. It's fine. It's got thumbs up moments.
Action,
it's got
kung
thumbs
fu,
down moments. It's
kills 3 people.
It's fun to watch. But then we go under the warehouse, and this movie takes a turn into great. Like, oh man, there's this moment where Jet Li's character is mourning the death of his brother, and Riggs and Murtaugh are just talking about how old they are and how like they're not going to be able to have this fight. This dude is at the prime of his life. He's fast. He's able to do so much stuff. In fact, you remember that time when he grabbed my gun and just took it apart with one hand? I want to ask him about it. And
I guess we'll go ask him.
It was so good. Oh my gosh. What an incredible way to get into this fight. I'm getting chills thinking. I got chills watching it, and I got chills just repeating it. Like, just Riggs saying, I want to ask him about it. Like, that's so good.
I think the only other note before the fight is the fact that, oh no, you've killed his brother. Guess what? He has super angry powers now too, like Riggs usually gets.
Yeah, and Riggs is not super angry right now. Like, the bad guy's the one with super angry powers.
Made me chuckle. It's like, well, they're right. They could just die here, and they've got so much to currently live for. It's heroic in a sense, but also stupid, because you should die in this fight. It's not a fair fight, but this is how we're going to play it out. There are multiple
times where I thought they were going to die. And then, so they eventually do win this fight, but it goes underwater, and some concrete breaks off and pins Riggs underwater. And oh man, like, I'm sure this is, maybe they thought they were playing it for laughs. I don't know. But I was in my feelings where I was like, is Riggs going to die? Like, how is Murtaugh going to save him?
One. Like,
yeah.
He could.
This could be it. And just a beautiful moment when Murtaugh is just like, where are you? I gotta find you. And then he's like, I feel you. Will it to me. I feel you. And he dives in the water, and they get free, and they come up, and Murtaugh is like, I felt it. I knew you were calling to me. And I was just like, I'm over here just like, oh, that was wonderful. I'm so glad you guys are okay.
Yeah. I may not have felt it as much, but I agree with the sentiment. Since I have watched this, I knew he was going to live. But
yeah, like, in my head, I was like, I know I would have remembered if Riggs had died, but I get lost in these movies when I'm in the moment, and I'm just like, what's going to happen?
He could die.
Yeah, it's been like 20 years. I've forgotten a lot of stuff. Maybe he did die. Like, but the movie's not done yet. Like, we still have not gotten to my 10 out of 10. This is the best scene in this movie. This is the best scene in the franchise coming up. And it's like the very next scene. Oh,
Like
I'm going to get choked up.
after the fight and everything.
Yeah, the graveyard.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good. I think it's a nice conclusion to the arc of the series of the franchise. I would say we have Riggs in the beginning with just his dog, and he wraps up his grief, like accepts it. I would say not to enclose the grief, but to keep his wedding ring and move forward. It is a good one.
The graveyard scene, he gets to finally put to words what he's been feeling this whole time. Like, where he's like, I still miss this woman. I want to move on. But, he's speaking to the grave. And that's already a touching moment, but that's not what makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
Freaking Joe Pesci comes up as Leo Getz and tells us a story about a pet frog. Woo! And I cried so hard.
Oh.
I didn't know Joe Pesci could act. I didn't know that he could make me cry. But oh my gosh, it was incredible. And so when I see that at one point the Razzies had nominated Joe Pesci as worst supporting actor for Lethal Weapon 4, I'm like, were you guys watching the same movie? Did you make it to the end? Because he has one of the best monologues I've ever heard. It is beautiful. Like, look it up on YouTube. It is heart-wrenching. So good.
Yeah, I think it is.
You're going to kill me. You are going to give me a coronary when you say, yeah, it was all right.
I think what would be the word? It mixes well with the whole family, and I don't know what else. Like, family is the word they say at their pictures, and that's really all that it is about. Like,
but it's also about the growth.
Yeah, his family was his dead wife, and now it is bigger in the same kind of way that Leo recognizes.
And right before Leo walks up, he's like, you gotta give me a sign. Like, speaking to his dead wife, just being like, what do I do? And then, the Froggy story. It's such a good and apt metaphor. Like, and he ends it with like, I just thought maybe you could hear it right now, or maybe you needed to hear it. And like, yes, I needed to hear it. Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I'm all choked up in the recording. I'm going to listen to this later and be like, damn it, I was really choked up. and my ice cold co-host is over here like, yeah, it was okay.
It was reasonable, I think.
You've got straight up nitroglycerin going through those veins.
Yeah, I think it is overall tough sell combined with everything that exists in the movie to then get to that point. I see that. What would I say? I can see that you enjoyed it at the emotional level that the director wished you to. So
yes, it hit where they wanted it to hit, and it hit good. Oh man, did it hit good. So, I'm just going to throw this out to the audience. You watch this, send us an email, potatochippicturespod@gmail.com. Did Joe Pesci make you cry like he did to me? Or was it just an
Um,
okay story about a frog? I said my piece. You didn't need to. I was just telling the audience they should email. That's all.
email because Justin is wrong. I'll rewatch it because maybe I was just distracted because it.
At least just watch the graveyard scene.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to rewatch the whole movie.
Sure.
Just from the cemetery to the hospital. And, then the hospital is back to being funny and silly and haha. And then they get the big final picture that takes us into credits. We get babies. That's cool.
People get married, babies happen, and
yeah, we got a rabbi who's going to marry us. Like, yeah, it's all cool.
I feel like, sure, we kind of leave it open to, like, there's no retirement discussion. It's just
true
like,
that
we go forward, and it's a new thing that's happening. I think that any sort of fifth movie talk is justified. You could do whatever you want, because the babies and the marriage don't end anything. Like if anything, it's like, okay, well, we got new people. I bet the next movie would have more people.
More to be, more stakes, as it were, because now there's babies involved. But in my eyes, I feel like this was a good franchise closer.
Yes.
So many of these movies, it felt like, yeah, you could keep going. But with this one in particular, and maybe it's because of the photo album credits.
Yeah.
But I was like, we're done. We've hit a satisfying conclusion. I'm happy where we are.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it remains as a conclusion that ends with a marriage and babies is like happily ever after. Like maybe you guys keep being sergeants because you got demoted back to it. Maybe
the most pointless promotion, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's like a sitcom. We're back to where we started.
I did enjoy the doctor type conversations when they become captains because that fits their character. They're two of Three Stooges. But yeah, I feel like where it is a nice franchise wrap, I feel like it's hopeful and could add something else. Like maybe they're definitely not running around in their age now, but let's cameo them and put them somewhere.
Yeah, indeed. All right, well, let's go ahead and get to the rating. We've been talking about this thing forever. On this podcast, we do ratings, not grades. The primary difference is where you find the average in a grade. An average is 7 out of 10 because you want people to feel good about the work they did. But the thing about that is a 7 out of 10 is not the middle. No, we do ratings because we say the middle of a 1 out of 10 rating is a 5 out of 10. Doesn't mean the movie's bad, doesn't mean it's good. It just means it's average. It's right there in the middle. There are average movies that are absolutely worth a watch. There are bad movies worth a watch. There are great movies that I will never watch again. But the point is, when we give it a point out or a score out of 10, the middle is going to be a 5. Anything above that says it's a really good movie. Anything below that says it's not a really good movie. But if your favorite movie ends up getting a 5, we're not saying it's a bad movie. We're just saying it's average. So with that in mind, Justin, please tell us, what would you give this movie on a rating of 1 to 10?
I was charmed by the Lorna Riggs relationship finally. The third one was okay with that. Like, it was a fun new romance. This one feels like feelings and stakes are involved, so that was a good way to get me interested and invested. I think Leo comes a little bit of the way for being useful and not as abused anymore. Still, yes, fielding some abuse so that he can stay close to his friends, which really mean a lot to him. So downsides are not plentiful, but they're there. I'm trying to think of what would be the most. Mostly with our current 2026 climate, those sorts of things have not aged well in this movie. Uh, INS is still denying people asylum, and what was be the other thing? There are more positives than negatives, and I think there was some nostalgia going into it. I think it's as good as the first one. Like, I enjoyed the first one, even though it was a little bit. It is different than this one, but there are enough relationship points that outweigh the plot, which I feel like is my main leverage of deciding whether I enjoy it or not. It's if I forget what the plot was, but I remember the people that were there and the moments between the people, I enjoyed your movie. So with that, I rate it the same as our first movie with a 7.
Oh, excellent. That is fair. I think, and I wrote this in our chat. You probably didn't read it because I did put it in spoilers. They lost me with the racism. That is my hard line in the sand where I'm like, come on, like we're human beings here. So the anti-Chinese sentiment from the LAPD, even with Detective Ing in the force, like I just can't abide by it, and it's so prominent throughout much of this movie. But there was just so much heart to it, and it had so much of the charm that I had fallen in love with in the second movie. And then, as I said, Joe Pesci made me cry. I didn't know he could do that. Like, that was incredible.
Who allowed him to do that?
Yeah, like, who gave him permission to make me cry? Yet he did, and that was a shocking experience to have. So, for me, the negatives are undeniable. I can't look past them, but the positives are really there, and of course, it sticks the landing. Like, I'm a sucker for a good ending, and this one has it. I'm at an 8 out of 10. That's where I'm at. This is my highest rated one now.
Comparatively, I think that it reflects your enjoyment of Joe Pesci completely.
Yes. He's the one who brought this. Frankly, this was probably at a 6 or a 7 until the speech about Froggy. And then I'm in tears and I'm like, all right, this movie got an 8.
They know how to end it, know how to get it.
Yep.
They were working for our ratings and they got it.
Exactly. They hit it right on the head. They knew exactly how to cater to me. So that gives us a show average of 7.5 out of 10. Nice and easy since we're only 1 point apart from each other. It's also the highest rated one that we have so far. With the first one being just a full point behind it, but that is our second highest rated one. So I think it's very interesting that the two most unique movies are the ones that have the highest scores. At least in my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the treatment of being a lawless cop in the second and third ones were kind of a lot of negative. If you get really angry, you can be above the law. It's like,
yeah, especially the third one. Ooh, yeah. That one did not age well. But, we can talk about that as well as the rest of the franchise, because this is a property that is a little bit bigger than 4 movies. We're just not going to watch the stuff that it's bigger than.
Yeah.
But, maybe, well, we'll get into it next week when we do the wrap
I'll
up.
wrap up, yeah.
That's what we do around here. So why don't you take us out of here? Take us away.
We'd like to thank you for joining us once again on our show, listening to us really just chat about Lethal Weapon 4, the wrap up to a very buddy cop 1990s, very 1990s film franchise. If you enjoyed it or hated it, go ahead and email us or like or subscribe. There are no more dislikes on YouTube, but give it a shot. However you find us, go ahead and interact, and that'll send us out to a broader audience. Feel like we've gotten a little bit more in the past couple weeks, and appreciate any sharing that you've done. Our email for any comments or questions or suggestions is potatochippicturespod@gmail.com.
We had a pretty significant bump, but it was only like one day. But I have noticed that a few people have been listening to the older ones. They've been listening like on day one. We've got like at least 4 people who are day one listeners when these episodes come out. So if you're a day one on this episode, shout out to you, because that's super cool.
Thank you. But that wraps up our actual movie review, and we'll sign off because I think I agree sometimes with their catchline.
I definitely agree with it.
Sometimes I don't feel that old, but
every day.
Until next time, we're too old for this shit. Goodbye.
Goodbye.